What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All the Mods 7 to the Sky. Guys, we're over here at our Wither skeleton spawning area, and for some reason, I ended up with a whole lot of XP levels. I have like 300 levels on me. I was like, what the heck? How did that happen? And then I got to looking, and it turns out our black hole tank over here, which we put all of our XP into, filled up. So that one is in my inventory right here, the 65,536 buckets. Yep. So we filled that all the way up, but there is another tier of black hole tanks. This is the one that we have, and then I went ahead and I made this one, which holds a little bit more than the previous one. This one did require the Supreme machine frame, which required that ether gas, and we still had that from before when we farmed up like around 10 buckets of it or so. So yeah, I went ahead and made one of these, and then the actual tank itself, aside from the Supreme machine frame, is actually rather inexpensive. So yeah, we went ahead and we did that. So we now have 66.5 thousand buckets of XP over here. I can only imagine these 300 levels that I got was from running next to the Wither skeleton area with my magnet on, because I pick up a whole bunch of stuff. It's like, oh no, I have my magnet on, then I gotta dump all that stuff out to let the collection area over here do its thing and collect. Look at all these diamond armor pieces that we have collected so far. Probably gonna end up throwing these away. I really don't have much use for them. I was kind of thinking we would hold on to the ones that are enchanted. Maybe we'd get some good enchantments on them, but honestly, I don't know if we need any of these enchantments. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything that's too crazy in here. Maybe these pair down here, these have protection for projectile protection. I mean, if they had like mending on them, maybe that would be good too, but I don't think I saw any with mending. Yeah, it doesn't really look like it, so I'll probably end up throwing away the unenchanted ones. So you'll notice that the walls are a little bit taller here. Yep, so I went ahead and I started doing some stuff also. If we'll take a look at the map, our final island has been installed over here. So now we have the full set of islands ready to go. So yeah, I made the walls taller, and then I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do with like these pathway areas. I wanted tall ceilings, and then I didn't want to just like completely open to the sky. Eventually, like I said before, what I wanted to do is kind of like dome these off. Yeah, and then we'd need a way for like that dome to connect to something without just kind of like free floating if we didn't have a ceiling above these walkways. So yeah, we went with the same style that we're doing down below. It's only 3 blocks tall. Actually, no, I guess it's 4 blocks tall. There's 2 blocks inside, so I can fit in here. But yeah, this is just kind of like empty space. I'm not sure if we're going to do anything with that. Probably not, but yeah, so I went ahead and I did that for all of our islands. So we have all of that done now. So that's great. And then I made sure to torch up here on the ceiling to make sure we're not going to spawn any mobs. And I think we are looking pretty good as far as the actual structure of the base goes. The main reason why I wanted to do this is so I don't have to keep worrying about sleeping at nighttime, because phantoms, right? Eventually, I'd like to have everywhere enclosed in the base so we don't have to worry about being exposed to the sky and having phantoms come and get us. That's the idea here. And it's going to look pretty cool when we're done as well. We might end up going with the Britannia glass, the mana glass, I think is what it's called. It's kind of a blue tint glass. It's clear, and it also emits a little bit of light, so that'd be kind of nice. Maybe we could get rid of some of these extra torches around here or something. But anyway, just something I'm kind of thinking about for the future. Yeah, trying to put 200 levels of XP into this tank from my person, this is going to take literally forever. So I'm not sure if I'm going to worry about this. Maybe if I need to AFK, I'll AFK over here or something. I don't know. Anyway, so what I wanted to work on today is it was pointed out, I think maybe a few episodes ago. In fact, it's probably been pointed out for a while now, honestly, that the jetpack that we're using is quite old, right? This is the tier 1, and I haven't bothered upgrading it. And I think the reason why I haven't bothered upgrading it is because it is right here in, what is this, a bauble slot? And then that bauble slot's hidden. So like when I look at my inventory, I just see my armor and I don't really think about it. But yeah, like flying and hovering and all this stuff kind of sucks with this thing. So I think we should go ahead and look at upgrading that. So let's look at jetpack. So there are a few more tiers. This is the one that we currently have, the bronze tier. There's the Invar, the Electrum, the Signalum, and the Enderium. I think that's the highest tier aside from the creative one. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, so this does require the previous tier. That requires the previous tier, and that one requires the previous tier. So we need a lot of these different parts made. Thrusters requires all these coils and stuff, all these ingots. I kind of feel like maybe I'll go through and make all of the recipes for all of these things, even though we're only going to craft this once. If we ever die and we have to recraft it, that's going to let us know what's going on, but it'll also let us know the total of all the different materials for everything that we're going to need here. And I think it'll just make life simpler. So I'm going to go ahead and craft all the recipes for all the jetpacks. We'll be back. All right, guys, so I went ahead and I made all the patterns for all the jetpack parts. And I think this is all the different things that we needed. We needed this ultimate coil, elite, advanced, basic, the leather strap to make the original jetpack. We already have this, so we don't actually need all of these recipes in here. But, you know, if we needed to make a second one for some reason, it's got everything in here, so it knows about everything. So I think we should be good. I'm going to go ahead and take off my current jetpack, throw that in the system. I think it might use that as part of the recipe. I hope so. And then we're going to tell it to queue up the Enderium jetpack. It says it's crafting that. Oh, you know what? Let me go back in here real quick. Let me see if I can switch this. Let's do this. A little substitution's enabled. It just doesn't know it can use the one that we currently have. Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess we're not going to upgrade the current one. We're just going to make a brand new one. Jetpack. Do this. Next. And it looks like we have everything. This is probably just going to take a little bit of time for all of this stuff to craft up, but I'm hoping that having this highest tier jetpack is going to be pretty nice for us. A nice upgrade anyway. Anyway, let's wait for this to craft up and we'll check it out. Okay, here we go. Jetpack has been made. We'll put this on our body. It is charging up. All of our power is draining into it. How does this work? Oh, it's not even on. Hover on, magnet on. How do I turn the options? Controls, keybinds. Jetpack. Nope. Engine. Toggle engine is Control V because of course it is. I must have set that a long time ago. Okay, Control V. Hover on, hover off. Okay. Yes, this is actually pretty nice. I don't think I have fall protection. Yeah, this thing does not prevent fall damage, but we do have feather falling on our boots, right? Yeah, feather falling 5. Hover mode. Oh, we have creative hover, and wow, we can move real fast with creative mode hover on. Oh my goodness, guys, why didn't I make this sooner? How fast do we descend? Not very fast, but I guess I can always just turn hover mode off and we can fall. Okay, yeah. I like this. Yeah, this is going to help us out significantly. All right, guys. So I think our wither skeletons, we have 600,000 skulls right now. I think we are probably okay to turn these off for a little while anyway. One thing that I wanted to do was check out piglitches. So we did go to the other, well, I went to the other off camera with a mob imprisonment tool, and I found out that you can actually pick these guys up in a mob imprisonment tool. I don't know if you can spawn them using the mob duplicator. That's what I want to see. And we have a perfectly good killing chamber in here already. So I think what we're going to do is set up a spawner, probably just right on top of this, or maybe right there on top of the redstone thing. We'll pop the roof off, make sure they can't escape if they can't spawn on top of the walls or whatever over there. But anyway, mob duplicator. Yeah, check this out. So we have the mob duplicator. We have the imprisonment tool. We have 256 buckets of essence. Turns out our essence for our wither boss over here overflowed. I don't know how much we lost, but yeah, this holds 16 buckets in there. This tank was full. And yeah, so I replaced that with our advanced black hole tank that we used to have experience going into. I have removed the experience from that and put it into the bigger tank. So yeah, now we're collecting essence over here. So when we spawn in bosses, We should be collecting that we should be collecting a whole lot of that for quite a while anyway. But yeah, let's go ahead and see about this mob duplicator thing. So if I do this, this doesn't... Does it? I can't tell. I was going to vein mine this. I'm afraid that it's going to connect diagonally down there. I think it actually would connect diagonally down there. Let's turn the magnet back on so I collect these items in my inventory. Now just go ahead and pop all of this off. Then we can get rid of that. Now we're fine. Let's get some torches on the corners here though. Very good. And I'm a little worried about that. If I were to fall in there, I think that will do a pretty good chunk of damage to me. Maybe we'll go ahead and we'll make this safe for us to work in here. Okay, collect all these blocks. All right, very good. So yes, I think we're going to put the mob duplicator right on top. And I click it on the block. There we go. And it shouldn't spawn mobs, but like right on top of this block. So yeah, this should be high enough wall where the pig liches, if they were to spawn, shouldn't be able to get out. At least I would hope so. Run with redstone signal. Let's go ahead and make sure we turn that on. And we'll put the essence right on top. And then I think I need to use a wrench or whatever in order to get that fluid out. So we'll convert this. Yeah, we're configuring fluids, right click, shift right click. Did that? Yeah, that's dumping the essence into here now. Very good. So the only other thing that we need to do is get a point, which I don't have one in there, but I should have one in here. Okay, we'll just put a point right there. Oh man, is that going to interfere with spawning? Hopefully not. Hopefully mobs don't spawn on it and just hang out there is what I'm really worried about. All right, so we have power, we have essence, we have a mob imprisonment tool and our duplicator. We just need a redstone signal. Let's go ahead and grab the lever. Is this going to spawn in mobs? This might be prevented from being duplicated in a mob duplicator. I know there are settings for that. And yeah, it looks like we are not able to duplicate that. Okay, so there are other ways to farm these mobs. In Stone Block 3, I was able to farm the, what was it? The Soarfish boss using Drigmees. And using a stasis chamber like we did on our Wither boss. So if that's the case and we can't just do it this way, that's a bit of a setup, and that's going to require a lot of power, and I don't think we have the power to sustain that indefinitely or for many, many hours on end. So I think before we start farming pig liches, if we can't do it this way, I think we are going to have to take a look at that and upgrade our power situation. Well, it seems to me if power is going to be one of those things that we really should look at, maybe we should focus our attention on it now. So I saw that we have this mod, Bigger Reactors. I was going through the quest book and looking at all the things power, all the power section here. And I was like, yeah, we've seen this, we've seen this, we've seen this. And I was like, oh wait, this one. This is something that we haven't done. So it says that there aren't any quests for this mod right now, and it'll be available in the future if they continue updating this pack. I don't know. But yeah, I think this is something that we should look at. So this mod here, Bigger Reactors, this looks like a remake of Big Reactors, which was a remake of Extreme Reactors. So I assume this is all going to work the same as I would expect it to. Yeah, it's been a while since I last did a Big Reactor, but I'm pretty sure this is all going to be pretty similar. Now, I saw there was this reactor wrench. This doesn't have a recipe. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like glowing pork or something. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about. There is no Yellorium. It's all uranium. Okay, so Yellorium is out. Uranium is in. There is cyanite. I saw there was a cyanite reprocessor. So cyanite is the expended fuel, I do believe. And then the reprocessor, if we go to uses on this thing, actually, I believe, or maybe you have to turn into the cyanide dust and then you can reprocess it. Actually, let's just look for the uses of the reprocessor. Does this show what this thing actually does? No. Okay. Well, if I remember correctly, you take cyanite, which is a spent fuel, and then you can turn this into plutonium. Is that how that works? If we look at the recipe for that. Yeah, I don't even see the reprocessor in here. So, how do you make plutonium dust? That comes from a pulverizer, which comes from plutonium ingots. But yeah, that's not even shown up here how you even get it. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the recipe just doesn't show up in this mod. I don't know. Or maybe the recipe is not implemented. I honestly don't know how this all works. Well, anyway, I'm going to assume this all works like I would have expected in the past. I saw there's liquid obsidian. And I know in the past we have used, I believe, inderium and cryothium. Or liquid ender, I guess. Is there molten ender? Is that even a fluid that we can use anymore? There's molten inderium. Oh yeah, there is molten ender. I assume this will work, but I don't know because it doesn't show anything in here as far as like coolants and stuff. So I don't think the bigger mod even has a quest book, or I'm sorry, like a mod book. I don't see a book in here at all. Okay, well, yeah, there's rotor blades and all of this stuff. I saw there was steam. There is reactor access port. Oh, it says we can ponder it. So what happens if we ponder this? Does that show any information? The edges must be, the walls can be reactor casing, reactor glass. The fuel rods run floor to ceiling, and then you have to put a control rod on top. Yep. Terminal needs to be included in the wall. Power tap is used in the wall to get power out. Access ports allow for insertion uranium. Yeah, so this is all essentially the same as the Extreme Reactors and Bigger Reactors mod before it. This is supposed to be a cube, but it looks kind of squished in a way, doesn't it? It's kind of weird. Well, anyway, yeah, so this mod is exactly how I would expect it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and make some patterns for that, and we're going to start making some bigger reactor. All right, so one of the things we're going to have to do in order to have this reactor running is we are going to need uranium. So we've already collected a little bit of uranium right here. We have 4.6 thousand of it. And when we turn that all into a usable ore, that'll be 1/4 of the amount there, right? So that turns into a raw uranium. And then this, I assume, we look at the uses for that. I assume, yeah, we can crush it into 2 if we use the correct machine. Let's see here. What do we got here? Yeah, if we use the grinding wheels, we can crush it into 2. What else we got? Macerator turns it into double. If we smelt it directly, we only get 1, right? There's a few different things we could do here. Enrichment chamber 3 to 4. I guess that's fine. It's a slight increase. It's not great. Anything else? Yeah, it doesn't really look like much else here. So yeah, smelting it 1 to 1, or we can do some things to turn it into double. So probably doubling it makes sense. Like I was saying, if we run it through this macerator over here, we get 2 of them, and then that smelts into the ingots, and that goes into our system, right? So yeah, that might be something that we do. I do actually have some raw uranium. I'm not sure where we collected that from before, but we'll just throw that into here. This will go ahead and smelt. We'll get some of the uranium in the system. And if we look at the reactor section here, we have a reactor terminal, which we can craft. We had to make a graphite ingot, and that is just smelted coal. So there's a reactor terminal. Apparently there's a task for that. And then we're going to need a whole lot of the reactor casing. I don't know how much. I'm going to make like 300 of that. So in order to do that, I need, there we go, the uranium. So yeah, we got the uranium coming in. Now we can make all this reactor casing. I don't know if we need that much, but if we wanted to make reactor glass, for instance, that is a reactor casing plus a couple pieces of glass to do that so we can see into the reactor, which is always nice to do. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and just get a bunch of these pieces crafted up, and we will probably turn this on here to start doing sand. Submit. Oh, I have salt in here for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why I have salt in there. maybe the filter, if I have everything inverted, it just starts pulling out random stuff. I'm not actually sure. Anyway, the reason why I want sand in there is because these pieces, this uranium, we look at the recipe. Yeah, that comes from sifting sand, uranium piece. We're also going to get prismarine shards. And then we have salt, iron pieces, zinc, and cocoa beans. So we have drawers for these. We don't have a drawer for cocoa beans or the prismarine. And I don't think that's really going to be an issue. These are 1%. That's very low percent. And then that's a 3%. It'll fill up our system eventually, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about it. Anyway, I'm going to let this run. We'll be back. All right, guys. So yeah, we removed our lava, our magmatic dynamos and everything associated with it. I think we have enough power to get us by for right now. If we take a look, we're using between 4,000 to 10,000 FE per tick. Yeah, and we have a lot of FE in here. We're not even touching this really. So we could probably go without our generators going for days and days and days and not even really worry about it. Well, anyway, yeah, so we have that all done. We're not making any power in the base right now. So I made an 11 by 11 by 11 cube with no ceiling yet. And then we're just going to do 5 control rods here, or I guess 5 reactor fuel rods capped with control rods. So these should go all the way up to the ceiling. Yep, right like that. And then the control rods sit atop them. Yeah, I don't know how this particular mod works, what the most effective way is. I do know in the extreme reactors and big reactors mod, you want 3 blocks of space between the control rods and the outer walls. So that's what we're doing. And we're just putting 5. If we want more power, we can always expand this later. So that's not going to be a big deal. Yeah, so now we got to figure out what actually goes inside here for cooling, because that's something I absolutely have no idea about in this mod. As we saw before, there really wasn't a lot of information inside of the, well, I guess JEI or REI or whatever, NEI, whatever mod this is. Yeah, it didn't really tell us what we're supposed to use for the coolant. So we can use water. If we search for coolant, we have sodium, and this is mechanism. And then this is all these other things. Reactor coolant manifold. I don't know if we need this. I'm not sure we do. Yeah, I hope not. There's a reactor coolant port. And I feel like this is if we are doing a active cooling, where we're producing steam and then putting water back in and the steam is running a turbine. I feel like that's what that's for. But yeah, we're not going to be doing that. We're just literally going to be running uranium and heating it and then using the whatever the reactor power tap to get some power out. Yeah, this won't be the most efficient way, but I think this will probably work. Well, anyway, we're gonna try with just water. So I guess I'll just grab some dirt or something. What we want to do is we want to just make ourselves a little platform here so we can make source blocks of water at this level and then let that drain down. Yep, so I'll go ahead and fill this all in. We'll put water on top of this dirt, make it all solid, non-flowing water. Then I'll vein mine the dirt away. That should run all the way down, filling up all of the air blocks inside of this with water, and hopefully that's a sufficient coolant to get us going here. All right, guys, so here is our reactor full of water. I removed the dirt, obviously, and then I moved our ports up here, the access ports. You can right-click on these after the multi-block is formed, and then you can change it from an output to an input, and you can tell it to output waste or output fuel. So I thought that's pretty cool. You don't need to actually wrench these things. So yeah, this one's set to output waste, and then this one over here, this is going to be inputting, and then that'll be inputting fuel, but it doesn't give us an option for fuel. Anyway, we're going to be connecting this up to Applied Energistics. I have this set up for a uranium ingot as the output for the export bus from our system with acceleration cards, and this is just importing whatever with acceleration cards as well. So we'll go ahead and connect this. That should start putting fuel into the reactor here. At least I hope so. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, it looks like we are full up. So I don't think this reactor explodes. Big reactors never have before. Yeah, I guess that's something I didn't even take into consideration here. I really hope it doesn't. Mods that make reactors that explode suck. So hopefully we don't have that problem. So we're going to turn this on, and looks like we are making 23,000 RF per tick, and it's still climbing as our temperature increases. How hot the reactor is, how hot the fuel is. Looks like our reactivity is decently high. This is, I believe this increases our fuel efficiency the higher the reactivity is. Looks like this is not going up all the way to the top, so that's good. If it goes up into the red, I'd be concerned about the reactor overheating, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. In fact, this seems to be coming down a little bit. Anyway, all the power that we're generating, 30,000.8 is going over into here, which is going over into here, which is now providing power for our base. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that was a very simple thing for us to switch over to. Yeah, we got rid of all the lava generators. We could probably get rid of our lava production. I'm not really sure how much more of this we're going to need, but until we need to remove these, we're probably going to leave those alone. This stuff can probably get removed, because if we expand this out, I'm going to want to go around every corner here, right? Just make it bigger, centered on the platform. Yeah, and then we're going to run into space issues over on this side. Anyway, so this is looking pretty good for that amount of stuff. So we're using 3.5 millibuckets per tick. I guess what I'd like to see is how much waste we have made so far. So already 6 cyanide ingots, and we take a look at uranium and cyanite. Yeah, so we have 1,477. We've made 7 cyanide ingots. This is something we are going to have to keep our attention on. We can't just forget about this at this point in time. Eventually, we could probably make uranium seeds. These guys right here are tier 4, and the essence from them, look at the uses on that. So 8 essence turns into 2 uranium ingots, so that's no smelting at all. But that's not a great conversion rate either. I feel like we'd have to make quite a few of these seeds in order to like really get the benefit from using them. So that might be something we look at in the future. But for right now, like I said before, our base really isn't using a whole lot of FE per tick at the moment. Like generally we're sitting around 4. Sometimes it spikes up to 10. But yeah, we're producing 30. So we are making way more power than what we're actually using. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, if we could make this reactor bigger, if we had all of the fuel, that would definitely be better overall. But guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. Yeah, we got ourselves a better power situation going on. Very happy with that. We'll look at expanding this in the future. If you guys know of better coolants so we can get better reactivity from this reactor, make more power out of our uranium, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.